Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel. The snow's falling again here in West Virginia. It just started snowing a couple hours ago. We've got an inch or two on the ground already. And we already got our first call to come help someone stuck in the snow. Luckily, they're just on the other side of the neighborhood, so this one hopefully won't be too bad. I guess these folks, this lady was trying to get her husband to the ER, and due to the poor road conditions already, they got stuck as soon as they tried to leave the house, so let's go try to help them out. Wow, this road is a solid sheet of ice. We may have to put chains on to get them out. We'll see. I just tried to turn back there out of the neighborhood and about put my truck in the ditch. It's a lot slicker than I thought it was. So, we're not too far from them. Alright, we tossed some chains on. Let's go down this snowy hill. Alright, looks like these folks tried to just pull out. Didn't quite make it. Alright, like I said, chained up. Just gonna do a nice easy pull with this one. Alright, there wasn't much to film there. We got them pulled out nice and easy. Let's just check and see if they need anything else. So it's pretty steep coming out of their driveway, and it was real wet last night and froze. I mean, shoot, I'm sliding down this a little bit right now with chains on. They just slid right over into the ditch there. And it's a pretty good hill coming up out of this, so I don't think they would have ever even thought about making it up the hill. Yeah, we're less than a mile from the house, so we'll take it easy getting back. I saw already there's a car in the ditch on my road. I didn't see anyone there with it. We'll check on them when we get back. Like I said, we're less than a mile from the house, so I didn't want to go through the effort of taking the chains back off, because who knows, we might need up getting on the next call. Another thing, a lot of you may be asking why I chain up the front axle and not the back axle. Well, when I'm empty like this, not towing a trailer or anything, Superduties drive pretty decent in the snow. Like, they will propel themselves forward fine in the snow, but they do not stop and they do not turn well in the snow due to the nature of having a straight front axle. So I chained up my front axle more so for steering and braking, and we're on some pretty wicked nasty ice right now underneath this little bit of snow. So, like I said, on my way to the job, I put the nose of the truck dang near in the ditch just because these things do not steer in the snow. But toss some chains on the front end real quick and it's no problem. I've never run into any issues chaining up the front axle. You definitely have to be leery of making sure your chains are tight enough, not loose, flopping around, hitting anything. But otherwise, the steering and control is vastly superior. Now, if I was towing a trailer with a lot of tongue weight or something heavy, I'd probably chain up my drive axle instead, or I wouldn't even be out in these conditions, so there's that. But yeah, for most recovery work, I've found it's better just to chain up your front axle, that way you can steer. The only exception to that rule is if I'm doing a winch out off the back, then I'll put some chains on the back just to act as an anchor to hold me in place while I'm winching. But for kinetic recoveries and driving, I definitely find the front axle does a little bit better. Hey folks, do you remember that time, not so long ago, I was talking about running snow chains on the front axle of a Superduty here? Well, fun fact, I bought one of these because if we look in here, this is currently what's holding together my passenger front brake line. So, fun story, I was out doing a recovery that I wasn't filming. I had front axle chained up. I was out on a really rough road, super icy, and I had to nose downhill to a vehicle that was stuck, hook up to him and pull him back uphill. Well, whenever I was pulling him back uphill, it required a good bit of effort. Spun this tire, broke a chain, and chain took out the brake line. So luckily, on the side of the hill there, pretty hazardous spot, I had that little pair of vice grips in the truck, pinched off the line, still had enough brakes to limp the truck home. But here we are a week or two later, needing to put a brake line on, so that there's half the fun of the danger of running snow chains on your front axle. Alright y'all, maybe now you can see a little bit of what we got going on. There's where I have my emergency vice grips. I've got my new line in place here. This old line ripped apart right here where it goes from the soft line, crimps onto the hard line. That chain grabbed a hold of it. Like I said, I was going in reverse, so it just ripped it backwards like that. That hard line was bent back. So I've got my soft line put back in, my hold down bolt. Now I just gotta undo this fitting, stick that guy on there, bleed brakes, and we'll be back to being good. But this here's one of the fun side effects of potential danger you can get into running chains on your front end. So definitely be wary. I didn't have the best set of chains per se. I mean, they were pretty dang new, but we're on the cheaper end of the spectrum, so maybe some heavier duty chains are in this truck's future. Alright folks, just like that, connections all made, good to go, all tied it up. Just gotta toss our wheel back on.